Hey Bella, alright, so here's your past life spread. So what we're going to do is look at where you were, what you did with the majority of your time there, an important day with the feelings and relationships involved, another important day, relationships, feelings, the death, lesson learned. And we'll get hints of time throughout. Usually, we're going to put that card away because of where we're going, and I'll explain in a second. So all I'm going to do is relay to you the images and impressions that are coming through. And your job is going to be to try to make connections where you can based off of what comes through here and your current life, okay? And I'll try to help however I can as well. So keep in mind that you can make a couple of kinds of connections, direct and opposite. So direct connections would be based on the information coming through that you can directly connect with it. Opposite connections would be the kind of thing where, like, for example, if someone dies in a past life of smoking, they come back and they can't stand smoke, they're allergic to smoke, they don't want to be around people that smoke, like that kind of thing is like an opposite connection, right? Okay, so you might want to grab a notebook and pen because a lot of stuff comes through, and remember, it's just about what you resonate with and connect with, and what you don't, you want to just tuck in your mind for a later time, like weeks, months, year later, whatever, things sometimes kind of click. So let's begin. All right, so first of all, when I was shuffling, what I felt like we were dealing with was there's an aspect of this we're looking at where there's feminine and masculine energy, right? So there's this really fine, great balance between it, but however, it feels like we're looking at a masculine energy in the sense of like a man. Now, it doesn't matter, like we can be all genders and all kinds of things, but usually when it comes through right away like that, it's for, you know, a few reasons, but a lot is usually to explain if you have what do you call it? Like displayed masculine traits in your life. Like if you grew up a tomboy, or if you have what we call masculine like qualities, like, you know, opinionated and outgoing and straightforward and aggressive, and not that aggressive is, these are not bad, but just what we as society consider masculine, right? Like that kind of thing. On the other hand, because of this feel, there's something about it where if you have found in your current life that you have had to suppress those in order to maintain within the boundaries of a role that you play, like the good daughter, the good sister, the good this, that, whatever it is, that would be a connection. And if you don't connect, that's fine, but that's just another thing that's coming through that I feel like is coming through. It can be the opposite as well, where you're just like, blah, here I am, this is who I am, and it might have been the kind of thing where that kind of personality would have had to make others adjust. And if you find that, growing up, whatever, if you have found that people have a hard time adjusting to you for whatever qualities or traits that you allow out, that there's something about that where your energy is meant to be come across by certain people in order for them to learn certain lessons. But it might feel to you like judgment. And, you know, it might be them judging you or whatever, but it's not even about you. It's basically what this feels like is, if there are times when you feel judged, or you will say your soul has put you in the kind of life where you find over and over again, you feel judged by like people that you meet, that is meant to happen not because you need to change, but because your energy holds something that is going to be unlocking and transforming those people who you feel are judging, if that makes sense. And you likely won't see that. These are people, I feel like these are people that you just don't see again, or they kind of make their way out of your life. Or does that make sense? So anyway, again, you have to resonate, connect. If you don't, tuck in the back of your mind. But that's just what I feel like is coming through, because there just might be something about you that helps transform people, but to us humans, it looks like judgment, or it looks like unease, or it looks like someone not liking you, if that makes sense, or just not feeling you, or not wanting. Basically, it's like what I feel like, and we'll get right into this right after this. Just I like to say what comes through while I'm shuffling. It feels like it's very simple. It's almost like relationships. Like it's like if the partners end up, if you've been blamed, essentially, like if you in relationships, if you find that you're the one blamed, or friendships, if they're the ones that break it off, or it's like that kind of thing. So if you ever find that happening, it's not like a fault, it's an energy. So it's almost like trust that your energy is doing its job, and maybe this will help in the case that you find people drifting away and that might bother you or might hurt your feelings or whatever. Kind of try to think of it as mission complete, because it's like it feels like it's part of your mission to transform people in that way, but it doesn't always look like, you know, when you transform people with your energy, it's not like this magical thing. Sometimes it hurts your feelings because you don't know why people either misread you, misunderstand you, or don't get you, or don't want to stick it out, or whatever it is. So just consider that. Or this can simply just be coming through because it might be something you're going through right now, or soon to be going through a kind of separation with a friend or a lover or a whatever, you know? So just, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Now, another thing coming through was very fully was the idea of like, there was drums and there was chanting. And this is where I want to go ahead and get into this. So the reason why we put the time card over here is because the place we're going to, this is the Atlantis and Lemuria card. And this card comes through when we speak of Atlantis, Lemuria, or legendary places, like places that we've only heard of that are not of Earth, or literally not Earth. So what's coming through very, very fully, usually it's Atlantis, but we're getting Lemuria this time. And it's coming through in the way of the feeling of gatherings and community, but very specific community that holds the same values. This could be coming up in case you are wondering, where is my tribe? Where are my people? Where is my community? You might have been born in such a way where you've been kind of on you're like your own mission to find those people, if that resonates. On the other hand, you could have just been born and found yourself finding these people and being pulled to the place, the environment, or the the right circumstances that led you to meet certain people, that kind of thing. Now, if you are still looking for these people, I would, after this reading, keep your eyes open, and it might take you doing something that you might not have considered before. What's really coming to mind is a drum circle. I don't know why. So it's a drum circle, and it feels like there's something that is going to, I almost want to say, if you get invited to a drum circle, go, please. Or if you feel, when I say drum circle, if that's like something that speaks to you in any way, keep your ears and eyes open for that, but also maybe you just want to look up and see if there is one near you somewhere, and to try it out and to see who you meet there, how you feel among them, and what the sound does for you. There's something about drums coming through and the sound being very healing, almost like how if you look into like shamanism, the drums put you into trance, and the drums can put you in such a state of mind where you get answers and clarity, and you go journeying, if that makes sense. What else is, yeah. So what I'm getting from here distinctly is that your aspect in Lemuria, which, by the way, if you have a connection to Lemuria, if you've ever heard of it, if you've ever been pulled towards it, if you've just come across it recently, and if not, look it up, see how it makes you feel, okay? But this aspect of you is a male, and he's not just part of a circle, he leads the circle, okay? And that's not just off the bat, that is working, it's not working, sorry. It's moving up over the years to finally assume position of a leadership role amongst the tribe, so to speak, right? And when I say this, this is not like a tribe as we think of like Native American tribe. When I talk about tribe in this regard, imagine a really large community, like a huge community, okay? So we're going to Lemuria, big community, okay? And it's not just one community. Lemuria is like a country. Imagine a country, and then there's all these, you know, it's not as big as like the US or something like that, but imagine a small country. So you have like a lot of communities all over the place, right? So in the community, you have sects, right? You have like groupings of people. So let's pretend that here every Saturday, groups come together in groups of 10 or 20 or 30, whatever, and they all sit together for the same purpose. And what this is feeling like, it's like a purpose for connection, enlightenment, alignment, receiving answers, clarity, like all that good stuff, right? So it feels like you have it's almost like you have gone through it through the years with the intention of eventually getting to the position of what we would call the leader of a group, one of these groups that comes together. And it's not just one group, it's like, let's say there's a handful of leaders, and it's almost like they get assigned different groups based on their expertise. So based on your expertise, people will come and join the group. Varying people will come and join the group, and you're just there to lead. It's like leading a workshop almost. But this workshop is like chanting and drumming, and there's something very healing about the sound. And so what I want to say about that, if you connect with sound therapy, if you've ever heard of it, sound therapy is in like, have you ever heard the singing bowls, or even drumming, or using frequencies of sounds, in the case that you might want to, like, let's say you're like, I want to try something new for my spiritual development, that kind of thing. What should I look to? Look at sound therapy. Look at drumming, frequencies, chanting, that kind of thing, like verbal things where your body is an instrument and your voice is an instrument. And it's not just instrument in like singing, of course, like when people sing, it's like, yes, of course, that's an instrument. But this is the kind of thing where it's like finding a vibration, utilizing your body's sounds. And that's what's very distinctly coming through. So however you can connect with that. And if you can't connect, I would just suggest you look it up and see, like, if you don't know about it, or you're like, I've never heard of that, or I don't know, blah, 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 go look it up and see how that vibes with you, because it's just coming through, like, distinctly. And again, if it's not connecting now, it might connect later. So just keep your, keep tuck in the back of your mind, keep your eyes open kind of thing. Okay. Now, what I'd like to see about connection with is the idea of leadership role for you. So directly, this would be coming through to show you that you have the capabilities and know-how of being a leader of a group. And not just that, it's almost like, if you're wondering what you should be spending your time with, I feel like it would speak to you the idea of forming a group, forming a workshop of some kind. And it's almost like teaching, but not dictating. So it's like, yes, okay. So I don't know if you're into meditation or anything like that, but this is almost like when you lead a guided meditation, you're kind of in meditation yourself with the people you're guiding through, because you're kind of like placing yourself on their wavelength. And so it's almost like you're in an experience all together, rather than being like a teacher in the front of a class telling them, you know what I mean? So I feel like there is something about this, that if there is something in your life right now, like where you feel like, what should I be doing? Or it's more like, almost like, I want to feel more aligned. If that is something you are wanting, alignment, or it's more like alignment in the self, and you feel like you're not aligned, it's almost like, I want to say, this is going to do it. And I'm not saying jump into a leadership role right away if you're not already there, or like if you're not, this might be the kind of thing where you work your way up, but you already might be there. It's even like yoga. Like when you're teaching a yoga class kind of thing, you'll still you'll be in the mindset, that gentle mindset. Even if you're helping them, you're still kind of in that, you're still like doing stretches, you're still, like everything, you're part of the group. So this could mean a lot of things. And or if you do lead groups or are in a group, it's almost like I want to say add sound to it. Like if something is missing from your life, it might be sound. That's basically it. Like in a nutshell. If something's missing right now, turn to sound. And it could be chant, drumming, that kind of stuff, frequency, sound kind of thing, singing bowls or whatever, but it can also be music. It can also be music that you are missing from your life, in the way of like music has frequencies. So like be aware of the music you listen to, that it can affect your being, because your being will calibrate to the music you listen to. So use it to your advantage. Does that make sense? Like, because you can alter your vibration through other vibration. So when you accept or absorb the vibration around you, you will attune to it or calibrate. So it's like, be aware of that and use it to your advantage, right? Now, as I say that, there is something about the idea of just be aware that, as I'm speaking, I feel like we're looking at an aspect here at least. I don't know how you are in your current life, but here at least, this person is very sensitive to vibration and frequency. So it could be that if you feel, first of all, you can be an empath hardcore. And if you ever feel like you're picking up moods, like you might like fall into tiredness or fall into depression or fall into paranoia at times during your day or whatever for no reason, that's not you, that's around you and you're absorbing. So look into that, into empathic, which you probably already have heard and know about. But this feels very much like it, where it's almost like, hey, be careful who you allow around you, because you're going to absorb their energy. So your first priority is you, and your first priority is to protect your energy. So yeah, there's techniques like shielding and this and that, but it really comes down to like, who are you allowing access to your energy field? Who are you allowing? And are you being smart about it, kind of thing. So I feel like this is just a call for you to just be aware of that, because this aspect here, he is so finely attuned to the energy around him. It's almost like when he looks around, he only sees waves of vibration and frequency, and he picks and chooses kind of like even where to walk based on the vibration and frequency of the people or even the land. So you might even be very sensitive to land. Like, so for example, like different places have different vibrations. There are places that are lower vibration and higher vibration. For example, what's coming to mind is Hawaii. Hawaii is the heart chakra of the planet. It's very high vibration. And when you go there and you're sensitive to the energies, you're gonna feel it. Like, so I feel like because of what we're looking at here, you're going to be someone that feels the land, feels the environment. And this could help or hinder you. So this can help you if you're aware of that, and you go to a place and you can feel like, this feels like home, this feels comfortable, this feels inspirational, this feels motivating just to be here, just to like breathe the air here, versus going somewhere and you might feel like it's kind of dense and it's kind of dirty. Even if it's not like physically dirty, it might feel dirty, or it might feel shady, or it might feel greasy, or you know what I mean? Like, allow your senses to, like, don't disregard those thoughts or feelings that come into your mind that seem silly or weird when it comes to the environment you're in and how you feel about it. Because if you're with someone and they're like, this place is awesome, it's beautiful, da-da-da, and you're like, yeah, it's pretty, but you just don't, it doesn't feel right, it's because you're very sensitive and your energy is not aligning with the energy there. It doesn't mean the place is bad, it just means there are places on planet Earth that align with everyone aligns differently, put it that way. Actually, there's this thing I just came across actually like a few months back, and it's called astrocartography, and I feel like you might find that interesting as we talk about the environment and what environment is right for you. Look up astrocartography, because based on your astrology, apparently, you can find, it shows you where in the world is best for you and where it might be harder for you, opportunity-wise or mentality, emotionality kind of thing, okay? So that's just coming through for whatever reason. So connect how you can with that. Now I also want to mention here, I know there's a lot with like one card, but the idea of community based. Are you someone that, again, is yearning for community, or someone that automatically feels at home with a community? I feel like the more you pay attention to these things we're talking about as far as the energy, environment, attuning, empathic stuff, I feel like you're going to find yourself arriving at the right community if you haven't found it yet, okay? So just keep that in mind, you know, and again, if it's not resonating, tuck it in the back of your mind for another time. But we're going to go to the next card. Just keep making connections where you can with this, and we're going to go to this card here. Okay, so this is the take care of me card, take care of me card. Now, what this indicates, usually this card is like someone who is being taken care of, whether it's financially or they have a disability and they need to be physically taken care of kind of thing. That's most of the time. This is coming through more than anything as a reminder and a message. And this is that the trust this aspect here had in the universe having its back, the universe providing, the universe unfolding the path in every moment in real time as it's meant to be, all the needs being met, all, you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, take care of me is really a reminder that you will be taken care of. All of your needs will be met. If it's not meant to be, it will not happen. At the same time, if it's meant for you, it will. So it's almost like this card, more than anything, feels like it's a card of trust. Like, trust that you are here on planet Earth at this time for a reason, and that everything you need for your mission and purpose is either there and you may not see it in the moment, or it's on its way and it will arrive in what they call divine timing, right? And if it's not there, then that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means that it's not meant to be there, if that makes sense. So it's almost like, it's like if you apply for a job and you don't get the job, even though you really, really wanted it. It's because ultimately what you don't know is that if you had gotten that job, you would have either been miserable or harassed or gone through hardships that you couldn't have known about, or you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. Oh, what's coming? So what's coming to mind is this thing I read a while ago, and I won't be able to remember verbatim, but it's in a nutshell. It's the kind of thing where, like, if a door closes, it's because the universe or God or whatever you think, you know, whatever your gig is, that they heard conversations that you didn't hear, and they're guiding you away from that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like the conversations you don't hear, the universe does, and it will protect you. Like that kind of thing. So overall, what's coming through is this, it's like a message of like, don't be wistful or yearn for something past that didn't happen or didn't turn out, because ultimately it saved you from a hardship. You know, even though you're like, well, I've been through hardships, I still go through hardships. It's like, yes, but those are the hardships that you want and that you signed up for in order to learn the lessons from them so you can improve and become an even better version of yourself, right? Versus hardships that are more like breaking you down, that kind of thing. Even though you might go through hardships that feel like it's breaking you down, it's only to, if it does break you down, to build you back up, that kind of thing. But keep that in mind. And I feel like that's really about this, what this card's about. And it's also, when you're aware of this, and you know, again, if you're resonating, connecting, when you're aware of past lives like this and the energy they contain, you're able to tap back in just simply through awareness and intention. So you're aware of it, you acknowledge it, and then with an intentional thought, you can step into that energy, or the version that has the energy. So you could be like, you know what? I am stepping into the version of myself that has the energy of someone who trusts the universe and trusts the path will unfold and does not worry. Like that kind of thing. And you can even say it out loud. It's very helpful, because guess what? When you say things out loud, words hold frequency and vibration. That's why it's called spelling, right? When witches cast spells, it's spelling. You're spelling reality into being. You're spelling words into a reality, into a being. It's very interesting. So use all of the tools that you have, and you might want to see your voice as a tool. Again, instrument, tool. So keep making connections where you can with this. And we're going to go to the first important day here. All right, so for the first day, we have the birth card. First important day, birth card. Birth can be a birth of a baby, watching a birth, birth of an idea, all kinds of births, right? And then the relationship with that is the friends card. So the friends card goes with the feelings of light of love, light of love. So we're looking at a love card. So let's see what's going on. Okay, first of all, the message coming through is your friends can be family. And your friends can actually be more family than family, in case you needed to hear that. This speaks to being able to feel toxic people and know toxic people, and being able to make the decision that having toxic people around you doesn't serve you, and it's time to cut them out. And there might be someone in your current life, or many someones, that you know is not best for you to communicate with at this time, we'll say, because they may be discouraging towards your dreams. They may be discouraging towards any ideas you may have for your life. That will immediately tell you who you need to lessen your contact with or cut them out, are the people where when you tell them what you want or ideas you have or dreams, whatever it may be, that they discourage you. And they might even be very nice. They might love you so much and have your best interests at heart. Those are the hardest to cut out, but it's almost like you need to prioritize yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be like this kind of choppy energy moving forward, because you're going to, as long as you keep these people kind of abreast of your situation, we'll say, it's going to, even on the subconscious level, hinder you in some way, just because it's like almost like a voice in the back of your head, especially if we're talking about a parent here. But you know, again, cutting people out, it's not as harsh as it sounds. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. It could simply be like, I'm too busy to talk right now, or, you know, you just kind of have to like minimize communication, especially if like these are people that you love and they just aren't serving your current path right now. You have to prioritize you, and you just minimize the communication. Now, there's people that you know are toxic, like let's say just like exes, you know, those are easily, you can say, yeah, that's pretty toxic. But there's still like access they have to you, whether it's social media these days, or they still know your number and you're still either not blocked or whatever. Even, and I don't know if you're gonna like hearing this or not, but even just letting people have access to you, even though they don't access you, but they know they can if they want to, simply because they have your number, and you know what I mean? That in itself is kind of keeping a bit of a doorway open. And I'm saying this just in case something is coming to your mind right now when I say you're keeping the door open to someone or a few someones that you mostly know is not in your best interest. That if somebody is coming to mind right now, that's who we're talking about. And that's just for you to think of, maybe there should be more of a minimizing of access or communication, if that makes sense, okay? And if no one comes to mind, that's totally fine. And if you don't resonate, great, fine, just tuck it in the back of your mind for another time. But this just speaks to external energies that are not encouraging of your dreams. And when you remove them, you clear space for others to come in that are encouraging towards those dreams, if that makes sense. And not just encouraging like on a a surface level, like not just telling you what you want to hear, but like encouraging in a grounded way kind of thing, you know? Because so it's good to have people who will keep you grounded and tell you that's, you know, maybe that's not the best way to go about it, but they're still encouraging, but they're like, well, here, just think about this way and this way. You know what I mean? They're more helpful than not, rather than just like, no, that's stupid, right? So just keep that in mind and keep making connections. So let me tell you what I'm seeing as far as this aspect of the past life in Lemuria, because why I started with messages before telling you about what's going on is because what's going on is such complete synchronicity and alignment that it's almost like there's really no drama. Like there's no drama here, you know? And it's like I want to say that in itself, if you can connect with how drama plays a role in your life, I want to say that drama is not bad when the drama is occurring with the right people in the right way, because drama can be fun. I'm not talking about like melodrama. That's what it is. It's like there's a difference between drama and melodramatic things. Like, so drama can be fun and lots of, it entices laughter and like movement almost, I want to say. There's lots of like movement, but melodramatic is almost like despairing and almost like chaotic movement, where drama can be, it's almost like, when I say drama, it's almost like an actor who knows their lines and they have very they've thought out, it's like they know their characters, so all of their movements and their way of saying the lines or whatever it is very, there's drama, but it's graceful, if that makes sense. It's like graceful drama because it's thoughtful, versus melodramatic, where it's just like, it feels like a childlike, almost like a tantrum, right? So I feel like that's what we're getting at here, is like this aspect, I want to say the community as a whole, because he only, like, it's like he only allowed himself around the graceful drama for his own amusement and like almost enlightenment, like a lightening, like it feels light. Like this kind of drama, like graceful drama, feels light because it's fun and it's it's almost like not controlled in the sense of like controlling, but it's more controlled. Versus melodrama, where it's like not controlled and it's out of control, out of order, disorder. And then graceful drama has order. So it's like almost, I want to say, if anything, like know the difference between the two and always navigate towards the graceful drama. And that will feel more refined and more mature in a way. And the melodramatic will feel childlike and unsupervised, I guess is the feeling of it. And I don't usually go through my readings talking about feeling energy like this, but it just feels like if you have not already dabbled in energy work and feeling energy, understanding, that kind of thing, I feel like you would take it on very easily or enjoy it almost like a hobby if you haven't already. Or maybe you're just like aware that maybe this is making you aware of just how sensitive, or in tune you are with energies. I don't know. But however you can connect again. Let's see. So we're seeing him just like enjoying his life and enjoying the graceful drama that comes with being around people that you allow into your vicinity, that you allow to have access to you based on how they make you feel. So this person has a lot of self-respect and self-worth, and the opposite for you, connection, would be if you came into this life and you don't feel worthy and you don't respect yourself enough or hold yourself in high enough regard. And if you are finding you have issues with that, this is a call for you to realize that it's just because you're experiencing something that you haven't before, so to speak, like your soul, like this is coming up to show you the opposite of what that would be, if that makes sense. So if you're experiencing the opposite of that, all you have to do is be aware of this life and acknowledge it and step into this version and hold yourself in high regard and hold yourself at the level of self-respect and self-worth that you may already feel this aspect is. This, I'll tell you what he looks like too. This man is like a toasted golden color. And he, for some reason, there's something about, I want to say like bald. And I'm just giving you the physical right now. And it's almost like, I want to say, when you look at him, you feel, the word earthy comes up. And he feels grounded and mellow and stable and, like that kind of thing. Like it's almost like no one can, if he decides to stand on his 2 feet and not be moved, nothing can move him. That's what this is. So As I'm saying that, another thing you might want to consider is grounding yourself every day, making sure your feet are touching Mama Earth. You know what I mean? Get that grounded feeling going on, because if you are feeling uncertain or like there is not a good foundation under you or unstable in life, it could very well be that you just aren't grounded enough. And that can come with intention and planting your feet in the earth, so to speak. Just connecting with the earth. Because it's almost like he's of the earth. This is interesting. This makes me just like take deep breaths and like sigh with like a deep sighing breath of like comfort, relief. Like almost like if you knew him, if you could see him, like you would never feel fearful and you would always feel safe. So there's something very safe and stable about this. And not safe in the way of not taking risks, you know, towards your dreams kind of thing, but just safe in knowing who he is. So this could be coming up in the case that in your current life you're having trouble feeling your authenticity or knowing who you are, or feeling lost. And that again is a call to ground yourself and make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people in the right environment. Again, this is only if you connect with this. Because this is also self-love. So even though we're talking about community and friends and surrounding yourself with the right people who will show you the right kind of love, by surrounding yourself with the right people in the right place, you're showing your self-love. And that's more important. That's self-respect. The energy you allow around you, the access you will allow to you, that's self-respect, that's self-worth right there. And you'll feel it when you take action towards that. Or maybe you already have begun. But I feel like the birth card is coming up because it's almost like a call for you to reassess everyone and where you are, to reassess it, how we've been talking about it as far as putting your energetic feelers out, and to assess everything and feel the energy. And the birth card is like, now it's time to, once you assess, take action and evolve. That's birthing a new version of yourself, is the evolution part, is the taking action, the inspired action at the right time, having access or having assessed what feels good versus what does not feel so good, what serves you versus what does not serve you. So anyway, keep making connections where you can with this right here. All right, we're going to go to the next important day. All right, so this next important day here is the so long farewell until we meet again card. And the feeling or the relationship is soulmate, the soulmate card. And the feeling with that is positive and negative. All right, this is what's going on here. It feels like we are looking at a death. So long farewell until we meet again generally is people leaving. Like actually leaving or fleeing or like, you know, just like moving. But this feels like a death, like so long farewell until we meet again card. Now, what's coming through is, yeah, just a thing, bear with me, it's just, if you're missing someone that's passed away, they are not gone. I know you probably already know this and you've heard this, but this feels distinctly coming through like, just like they are not gone. And like this whole reading has been about energy, right? When someone passes, it is an energy transfusion. Imagine that kind of thing. It's an energy transfusion, not a blood transfusion, but energy. And the energy just goes into another vessel that you can't see. And the vessel is an energetic being filled with the energy or consciousness of the one you love that you lost. You know, whether it's a grandma or a mother or whatever it might be, that they're not gone. So just in the case that you are wishing someone was around because you would be able to ask them for guidance or help in person, if you connect with that in any way, they are helping and guiding you, just not in person. Just if you can allow yourself to trust that, please allow yourself to trust that. And the more in tune you get with energy and vibration for all this stuff, I feel, and this is again, only if you're connecting with all of this, I feel like you will be able to feel this person, whoever you might be thinking of, that may have either, yeah, I just feel like it passed away, kind of that kind of thing, or in the future, if someone you love passes away. I'm not saying someone's gonna, drop dead or anything like that. It's just everybody has an exit point at some time. We're human. But you will have greater access to communication with the energetic body that passes than you would if you did not pay attention to your energy sensitivities and gifts, if that makes sense. So just in the case that you are wondering, like, is grandma around, or is mom around, like whatever it might be, just in the case if you're wondering that, you'd be able to actually be like, hey grandma, can I ask you a question? That kind of thing. It's about just trusting and being in tune, and being in tune with that intuition of yours, that kind of thing. And also, when you surround yourself with those people that are meant for you, that's going to amp up your energy and connectivity, we'll say, alignment, to where communicating with this kind of energy will be but a thought away, if that makes sense. But here we're seeing this male aspect, and he is basically, it feels like the death that's happening here feels like an older female. The soulmate card is not always romantic, but it's hard to determine if it is romantic here, especially because it feels like romance here is not the same as we see romance today, because romance here is so grounded. Even though there's passion and fun and laughter and all that, the romance here is also very grounded. And again, it's that graceful drama. There's no melodrama here. So it's almost like lovers here are also best friends, period. Because it's like everyone's friends. It's like everyone gets along because everyone's aligned. And so that's why it's just hard to determine, but that might be coming through because it doesn't matter, because the message feels more than anything, as I'm saying that, is your lover should be your best friend. And if your lover is not your best friend, or your partner is not your best friend, that could be why you are unhappy in a relationship. So if you're in a relationship and you're unhappy, it's because you and your partner are not at best friend level. If you are in a relationship and you are happy, it's because that friendship is there. If you're not in a relationship, the one you're looking for is going to be your best friend, that friendship foundation is going to be there, period. Just saying. So just keep that in mind. Romance and friendship, for you at least, it feels, should not be separate. Okay. So it feels like this man, this aspect is like saying goodbye in a very loving way, knowing the separation is not a separation. It's just being perceived as a separation, if that makes sense. So the feelings here are positive and negative, because it's like, oh, I'm going to miss you in your physical body, but I'm not going to really miss you because I'll be still talking to you every day because you're here with us now. Like it's that kind of thing. So it comes down to what I feel like is a message of trying not to perceive separation as much as you might, or trying to perceive separation not as separation, but just as like something different than you're used to, like redefining what separation means, if that makes sense. It can keep making connections where you can with this, and the idea of separation not being separation. This can also speak to if you feel separated from people you love or home, or someone had to, I don't know, go away to school somewhere, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. Just remember, time and distance is an illusion, and I know that's easier said than done. But when you ground yourself in those kinds of perceptions or perspectives, it makes things a lot easier. It's kind of the idea of like nothing ever ends, right? Energy doesn't just stop, it just transforms into something else. And that's what we're seeing here. And that's what this man, this aspect of you realizes, is he might love this woman or person so much, but she's not really gone. It's just her body is no longer around, like, if that makes sense, even though it's really hard in itself. So we're actually we're kind of looking at coping mechanisms for grief, understanding, grief has various forms and it's for various reasons, and it's not your job to like put a capper on grief. Like, allow yourself to grieve, but also incorporate these concepts when it comes to grieving in order to like self-soothe and have a more expansive awareness of the grieving process and you know, the reason behind it, and maybe even like a hope, you know? So keep making connections where you can here. And yeah, and also this is just a reminder that nothing is always all positive or all negative. You know, it's not going to be 100% either way. So everything, you know, there's duality for a reason, that kind of thing. So like, don't write things off right away, give things a chance kind of thing. Not when it comes to like toxic people, when you know that they're not serving you, you know, in serving your best interest, but other things, so to speak, like in ways where it won't make you judge yourself, right? So keep that in mind, keep making connections. We're gonna go to the death card here. This is the murder card. And it's not always like murder, like stab in the back, it's like, this is really more about intentional passing. So sometimes we see this with people who drink themselves or drink years away or drink themselves to death kind of thing. It's like, because it's like they're doing it themselves. They know that alcohol's gonna kill them, you know, like that kind of thing. And they might not mean to like kill themselves, but it just happens that way. So the intent is there, and that's what this is. But really, what's really cool about this card with this life, and I've seen this before, and we've seen this in not just readings, but like actual past life regressions too, where highly evolved beings such as these people, highly aware, evolved, enlightened beings, they've mastered death in such a way that they can determine when they are ready to go. Okay, so maybe you've heard of the, you might have heard they've unearthed like a monk that was buried, and he's technically, I think, still alive 300 years later because he put himself into a meditative state that passes as death, if that makes sense. Look that up. It's very cool. Go Google that. But this is showing us that this aspect of you has mastered death in such a way that when he felt it was the right time to go, for his physical body to go, he decided and he intentionally allowed himself to go. Or it's like almost like an intentional will to go, because all of his missions were complete, purposes were met, he felt fulfilled, he was happy, it allowed him to say goodbye to everyone, and then he took his leave. And quite frankly, that's what, now I'm saying that's what happened here with her. So it wasn't so sorrowful because everyone knew it was coming, it wasn't a surprise, and I feel like that's what it was here, is like death was not such a surprise here, which means in your current life, death can be quite shocking to you, so it would either be shocking to you as a human, like you're like a hard grasp of it, or maybe you are triggered by surprise deaths, or the other thing would be like directly, like what's here is you might have a very good grasp and handle when it comes to death, like this aspect. Okay, it's very interesting, but keep making connections where you can with this. This speaks to the power of your mind and the power of intention, and to use that to your advantage, because you're very powerful in that way with your mind and your intention. And that can be also when we're talking about manifesting. So let's get to this lesson here. This lesson is compromise. And what's coming through more than anything is that in this place here, this life, there is no compromise. Because it's like, yeah, there's lessons to learn, but it's because the community, everyone understands who they are, and they respect themselves and hold themselves up with self-worth, self-respect, all that, so that everyone has no choice but to respect everyone else. Because it's like when you feel full inside, you want to spill the fullness out on others to help fill others up, right? So this speaks to making sure that you prioritize yourself and that you fill your own love bucket first before catering to others or people please, whatever it might be, before giving love to others in that way. Because when you pour out love from an empty love bucket, we'll say, you're running on fumes and you're compromising, and that breeds resentment. But when you make sure that your love bucket is filled first, it's not selfish. You should be your priority. This is your life journey. Making sure your love bucket is filled so full that it spills out to the ones around you. There won't be resentment. You won't have to compromise. You'll just want to give, and it won't feel like compromise because you'll feel fulfilled yourself. And to get to that place is all of the things we were talking about here. toxic people, environments, good people, tribe, community, you know, doing more self-serving, self-prioritizing things in your life. It's not selfish. Or if people say it's selfish, fine, I'll be selfish because I want to fill my love bucket up first. This is my life journey and you deserve that. So anyway, there is your past life. No, it's a little weird, but hey, you know, that's what came through. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you were able to make some connections, and thanks for letting me read you.